when somebody comes in, like how do we make sure we're providing a good environment for global talent where they actually enjoy working with us and want to stay with us? And so I feel like Sagan and John would be much better path to follow in that regard. The thing that stood out to me was that it was just very easy. Like I just filled out the form and that was kind of it. And I didn't have to stress or be concerned about it any more than that. I just brain dumped into a form. The Sagan team was off to the races and we had 3 candidates in like 9 days, I think, so to look at. So yeah, it stood out to me. It just required basically no time and effort from me. And we had some good candidates presented.
Could you please introduce yourself and your business and your customers?
Sure, yeah. So my name is Thomas Stubblefield, and I'm a partner at a fractional CFO firm called Scalable CFO, where we specialize in helping these small business community and their businesses with the finance aspect, and typically under probably $25 million in revenue, which seems to fit very well with the businesses that are typically in Sagan for the most part and kind of run around in SMB Twitter. So that's generally our customer base. But yeah, we just act part-time CFO for those businesses who either don't need a full-time CFO or sometimes can't afford a full-time CFO. And we just try to come in and provide a lot of that infrastructure for them, reporting and forecasting and just general strategic analysis. And that's our business and what I'm doing.
All right. Well, thank you for giving such a thorough description of what you guys do. So if we speak about hiring global talent, did you come across any challenges before you started using Sagan Passport, before you became a member at Sagan?
Yeah, I would say the biggest challenge I had was just that I knew it was something that could be done, but I didn't really know how to take the next step to do so. And before Sagan had launched, we had hired one individual from the Philippines who she's still with us and she's been great. But I would see John talk about sometimes we look in South Africa and South America and we look at all sorts of, we might look in Eastern Europe. And so then it's kind of the range with which he can recruit from is much wider. And I was impressed by that. So then I felt if I were to join Sagan and rely on his expertise, I had been reading his newsletter for a long time. I felt like he could probably have a just wider span that he could find good talent, and then also potentially find us some talent that was in our time zone too, because sometimes I think it's better if we have people who are in our time zone, but I don't necessarily always want to force somebody who's on the other side of the world to work the night shift. So it made me feel more comfortable about just getting people from all over. And so we had a good experience hiring the person from the Philippines. There's this whole other world of hiring them, but then onboarding them, training them, and providing a good work environment. And that's what I was way more interested in as well, is when somebody comes in, how do we make sure we're providing a good environment for global talent where they actually enjoy working with us and want to stay with us. And so I feel like Sagan and John would be much better path to follow in that regard.
And can you describe your experience with our hiring process? So anything that stood out or just anything that you remember from how that went?
We've hired one person so far. We have plans to hire more, but the thing that stood out to me was that it was just very easy. I just filled out the form and that was kind of it. And I didn't have to stress or be concerned about it any more than that. So I could fill out a form. It kind of guided me on what I needed to put in there. Very quickly got a response from the Sagan team that was, we got your offer. Basically, we're going to tweak a few things to make it more job board, appropriate. And they did, presented it to me, and I signed off on it, and they were off to the races. And so I think all of that was taken care of in less than 24 hours. And so in the past, some other firms we had looked at using, it was a longer cycle to get it started because I would have to send them an email, they'd respond in a couple of days, maybe get on a call, describe what I need, etc. But for me, I just brain dumped into a form. The Sagan team was off to the races and we had 3 candidates in 9 days, I think, so to look at. So yeah, it stood out to me. It just required basically no time and effort from me, and we had some good candidates presented.
Awesome. I think, one of our members said it was painless, which I really loved. And basically that's what you're saying. It was so easy. Can you also maybe comment a little bit on the subscription model benefit? How did it benefit your business, or, what has been the impact so far of hiring global talent with Sagan and also using this particular model of ours?
Sure. Yeah. The subscription model just made it like an easier pill to swallow up front, because when I can bake it in at $1,000 a month, that's just a much easier as opposed to signing up for a big expense or just paying a bigger expense every time we hire. So just having it very simple and lower expense up front made it easier for me to just, I guess, swallow that pill and get in the group. But then it also, I think the incentive is there, right? That if you guys are running a subscription model business, you're also incentivized, in my opinion, to constantly like add more benefits and features to the group. And so I've very quickly been able to see that, like the Johnny Costigan stuff, like that being added. The workshops are always fun, the office hours, like I just get to meet and speak with some of these other people. And so that was another thing that not only was it easier to swallow up front, but I also felt like you were going to be incentivized to do more, and which has been the case. And then just being able to drop a question in the community and get an answer has been nice too when something pops up. And then I think the other thing too is, since there's that subscription model and I have hiring slots, if for whatever reason we didn't feel like we were going to use all 6 hiring slots, I know John is also very open, like, well, you can also just like sell your slots to other people. And so then I thought, well, like, okay, then that means I can cut into my costs if I didn't feel like we were going to use all the hiring slots by doing that. And so it's like, okay, I get a lot of flexibility here as far as for me. And either way, like, it feels like it's a win-win for everybody, what they're trying to achieve. So yeah.
Right, exactly. Well, thanks so much for the kind words about the community. Yeah, we're really trying to make it as engaging as possible for members. And if you were talking to someone who was kind of on the fence about hiring global talent, what would you tell them? Like, why would you say, yeah, just go ahead and do it? Definitely hire global talent.
Yeah, I don't remember who said it. I definitely didn't come up with it myself, but the idea that like talent is equally distributed, but opportunity is not. And so it's like, okay, like there's 8 billion people on the planet, that definitely, there's only 300 million in the United States, let alone however small your local community actually is. And so it's like, do we not think that you could find like much more talented people when you have 8 billion people you can search across, right? So that's always kind of the first thing that I say, is that just because like we're in the US doesn't mean that we're automatically the cream of the crop as far as this job role you're trying to fill or skill set you need, right? So that's always my first thing. But then also I think about almost everybody has worked from home since COVID. And I just always tell people it's basically no different. I mean, they just happen to live somewhere else. And so I was working for a W-2 job when COVID started. We all went remote and we thought it was going to be terrible. And then all of a sudden, nobody ever went back because they're like, this works just fine. And so then all of a sudden you realize, okay, it doesn't really matter where you are. As long as you're doing your job and you're good at it, then who cares where you are? And so those are the 2 things I always tell people about hiring global talent. It's basically just the same. Maybe a little accent here and there, but if anything, that just makes it fun because you just get to learn about something new and someplace new.
Why would you recommend Sega Passport to hire global talent?
Yeah, because I think the other side of that is not only are you building something for like the Sega Passport business owners, but I know there's a Discord, I know there's some other things to help global talent as well. And so I know the accent reduction was just the first one to start, but there will be other like upskilling opportunities. And I find that the global talent that I've interacted with so far is very hungry to like achieve and improve, and just like how I am too with what I want to do. And so if you're offering these other opportunities to upskill, and it's just, hey, since you work for us and we're part of this community, here's maybe an automation workshop or something like that you could go learn how to do and then like apply that here. And then it's ultimately saying like, if you are also getting upskilled from us, like you also end up getting paid more from us. And so that's one thing, is having that opportunity and also potential kind of side community just for the global talent to have. Those would be probably the biggest things that jump out to me.
And I guess the last, but not the least, where do you see your business in the next 6 to 12 months as a Sega Passport member, and how many more hires are you considering?
Yeah, so I would say in 6 months, and we just did some road mapping for our business, so it's a very timely question. In 6 months, I don't expect our firm to really grow anymore, but we are instead trying to focus on internally, like how do we actually build a team and build actual systems and processes? Because I can assure you right now, we just wake up and work hard, but there's not a whole lot of systems and structure in place. Like we're just grinding it out every day. So we want to focus internally and very much build more of a machine that can deliver good work to our clients, as opposed to like just being me and the other other partner and some other team members. So part of that is we expect to hire some more analysts. So I would expect probably in 6 months, maybe another 2, and just to help kind of build that machine, and we can document some playbooks to help them deliver that work. And then in 12 months, I would expect us to start growing again because we built that machine and we feel much more comfortable scaling beyond where we are. Because if we scaled much further than where we are, I would be a little worried that the quality would degrade because it's like all relying upon me and my time and the other partner's time. And so we want to build the internal machine, which would involve more people. So we plan to do some more hires for that part. If we're growing enough, then I want to keep hiring, right? And keep using those slots, but trying to do a little bit of first things first to set us up and also set up our future global talent for success too. We're just a little messy right now internally. And so we got to fix that.